Hi, everyone. It is Monday. It is my favorite day. Why? Because it is Mothers of Multifamily. Yes! And I have the amazing Dr. Erin Hudson on. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's so great being here. Thanks for having me, Pili.
Well, thank you for coming on. So, Erin is an accomplished 10-year entrepreneur as well as a wife and mother of five, ladies and gentlemen. She is the proud owner of Hudson Wellness Centers in California, providing chiropractic services and serves as director for a team of 30 plus employees. She is also a successful real estate investor with a track record spanning 5 years, as well as asset manager of a $19.5 million real estate portfolio, which she has raised over $3 million in capital. Her company, Legacy Builder 7, is a company focused on identifying value-add real estate investment opportunities for private equity in emerging and stable markets. Oh my goodness, Erin, welcome again. Wow.
Thank you.
Doctor, mama, wife, entrepreneur, real estate extraordinaire. So my question.
You're making me blush, honestly. Thank God the Lord gives grace. That's all I have to say.
Well, my one question is, besides what the Lord has given us, how do you do it? How do you do all the things?
Hey, listen, I'll be honest. I have done it right and I've done it wrong, right? And sometimes I have to go back and correct, right? Correct and whatnot. But there's some things that really I've put into place that really help to keep me on track. Yes, do I deviate like times like this while here we're dealing with the coronavirus and I have all the littles at home and not on my regular routine at all. So I will tell you, I am far from perfect, but I know that when I am, following that routine, everything flows so much better.
So you just talked about routine. So do you have everything just kind of like systematized, or you kind of just like fly by the seat of your pants?
It's different things. Like, for example, my morning routine is pretty fierce and I'm pretty on point because I feel as a mom of 5 in a crazy busy life, right? I got to have time for me, right?
Yes.
Like soul searching, my time, right? And so for me, that's 5 a.m. I get up at 5 a.m. before anybody else is awake. And I just really have a process that I go through. I wake up, I get up and I, first things first, I get dressed to go to the gym because I want to make that a priority, right? So I'll go to the gym and I'm there for about an hour and a half max and come home. And then I have my most important thing that if I could share with you.
Yes, please.
Game changer is I have my nice little journal, right? And my calendar. And so right when I come home from the gym, dirty, stinky and all, right? I literally go right to my book, right? And the first thing I do is I write down 5 thankfuls.
Nice.
Broad 5 thankfuls. And I'm sure many of you have heard of the Miracle Morning, and I don't follow it to a T, but there's things in there that I absolutely definitely do. The first is the 5 thankfuls. The second thing I do that is completely odd and probably out of the norm that you hear other people talk about is I write down my 5 thankfuls for my spouse. 5 things about him that I'm thankful for. It could be as little as doing the dishes, something. And let me tell you, my marriage is far from perfect, right? But I have to remember to be grateful for the small things. And I have to remember to honor and love my spouse. And I will tell you, it comes hard. I'm not one that's sitting there praising my husband and showing him showing gratitude. But I will tell you something. Those 5 thankfuls that I write get my head right? So I can start my day off and be peaceful and a mother and a kind wife. I don't always excel, but it's my heart's there, right? But here's the thing. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening. My husband goes to this book of mine and he'll be like, man, I saw what you were thankful for me today. And it totally gets him fired up and excited. So if I can get him fired up over something that's like pediddly, great, right? So anyhow, 5 thankfuls, 5 for myself. What am I thankful for that day from little to great? And then 5 thankfuls for my husband. And then I jot down my to-dos and I really put the things on there that I want to accomplish for the day. And I'll be honest, it usually spans pretty long, but it's okay. I get my highlighter out and my goal is to accomplish it all. And if I can't, that's okay, right? the next day I'll pick up, but I highlight as I get that taken care of. On there also, I put my little calls for the day. So I know where my windows are, right? And that really massively helps me to have it in front of my eyes. I'm a paper person. I don't do it. It's on my phone, but I like to visually see it. There's something that I feel like I've accomplished if I can sit there and be like, man, this was a productive day. I followed my routines. I made sure my husband was taken care of, and I accomplished these to-dos, and I got on some successful, great calls, right? To give back and to also be mentored and learn from. So I'm sorry, that was kind of a long-winded, but it's literally a game changer for me.
No, ladies, and you, if you follow me, you know I say this from time to time, but you know I only say it when it like very, very really matters. Okay, stop listening right now. Hit that little circle button that has the arrow that says to go back. Go back at least a minute or maybe 2 or 3 and re-listen to everything that Erin just said, because that is key. Starting your morning, your day off right in the morning, exercise, journaling, being thankful from the very, like living your life with an attitude of gratitude. That is like what you just said, Erin, is like to the umpteenth degree, because you're not only writing down what you're thankful for, you're also writing down the things that you're thankful for the one person in your life that's the most important. Yes, your children are important, and I know this is mothers of multifamily, but your title as wife, you decided to put yourself together with this amazing, amazing gentleman. So why not celebrate it? That's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, but let me just go into that just real quick, if you wouldn't mind. I have 5 littles, right? So I'm responsible for them, and there's nothing more. I could start crying about it right now.
Oh.
I want to be the example that I never had to my kids, right? So maybe they're not up at 5 in the morning, but they know mama's routine. They know we have to lead by example. It's not the puppet show, y'all, what we say. They are watching our every stinking freaking move, right? So they know mama goes to the gym and makes her health a priority, because why? It will allow me to run alongside of them at the park, and I'm not winded. My kids, I have a 21-year-old. She's like, Mom, you beat me in everything we do. No, it's not a competition, but you know how good that feels to a child to know that their mom is strong and makes their health a priority? Come on, we're losing that in this world. Yes. And those kids need it for their own confidence, right? And so for that, I think it's extremely important. It's extremely important to have that consistency. Why? Because it makes us feel good. When we stick to a plan and we execute, we feel better about ourselves. So starting my routine totally energizes me and helps me to power through the day. If I, like what's going on right now and everything in my house, it kind of puts a stirring in me. Like I'm not comfortable, and I'm definitely stretching, right? The Lord is constantly stretching me right now, like massively, and I'm just going with it. Guess what? I'm just letting it all hang out, right? And so that's okay. But my kids and my family know that there's a routine, that mom cares about her health, that mom's going to follow through, that mom works hard, and we have the conversation. I'm in my office working like crazy, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes I will get my balance out of whack because I'm so passionate about helping people and what we get the pleasure of doing in the multifamily space, that sometimes those calls last longer and I don't cut it off because I'm enjoying it so much. And so it's pulling back in and getting that balance back in check. And my kids know that, Mom, it's time to shut that phone off. And when I say that, when they say that, I know that's not a good thing, right? So it's course correcting. Not perfect, but I have a plan.
But the thing is, like you just said, that you lead by example. Yes. As entrepreneurs, we tend to have this, like, I'm on this call, I'm having like a moment with, like, say we were talking together, we're talking about real estate, and we were just having a moment. The call was going over an hour because you know it is, but you have your children that are waiting right outside the door for you. The thing is, mamas, let go of the mom guilt, because like Erin said, you are leading by example. There are going to be times when you're going to have to spend a little bit more time on work, but they're going to see that mama is working hard, that mama is taking care of her body. So, and I know that I dealt with this before. I was like, okay, I need to be with my kids. I can't go to the gym. I can't work out. I can't go for an hour run. Yeah, you can.
Right.
Put your kids in the stroller and take them out with you if you have to. Have daddy watch them. Have grandma and grandpa watch them. Have a sitter watch them. But come back and be like, look what mommy did. Look what mommy can do, right?
So true. I'll never forget. I was training for a marathon. I ran 21 miles with a double stroller, stopped 3 times to nurse one baby, got the other one a smoothie, had him in the stroller. It's all in our head, y'all. Whether we can do it or not, it's in our head. And you can persevere if you truly desire. So it just depends on where your heart is, where your motivation is, and how hungry are you for it.
Yes.
And that's not with just motherhood. That is in any and every area of your life. Multifamily, whatever it is, your business, your kids, your family, if it is a priority and it's important to you, you'll make it happen. So excuses are just full-blown, well-planned lies. And there you have it.
Yes, no excuses. So how do you live your life? Let's expound more on that. How do you live your life with no excuses? What kind of advice can you give to mamas out there to stop the excuses, stop the bad things that are going into our head?
Listen, I'm going to share with you what unfolded, and I think this is really crucial to share, and it's not to impress one bit at all. It's to impress upon what we just talked about. Anything is doable. Here I am. Just imagine with me for a moment. I'm in my practice. I'm seeing patients. I have a coach that I've been working with who's really trying to help me to hone in my business, to really stop doing the $10 an hour jobs and to focus in on the stuff that is timely and is most efficient of my time. So that's when I started to delegate. I hired staff members to take on those $10 an hour jobs that I was doing. When I started to do that and I was with my patients, I had so much time that opened up, right? I would have my assistant come in, warm up my patients. I'd come in, love on them, hug them, adjust them, and I would send them on their way. And they felt completely like they missed out on nothing, right? So I found these gaps in my schedule. I had always wanted to move into the real estate space. I just didn't know how it was possible living in California because the costs were so astronomical. Well, let me tell you, I got on a mission and I was just like determined to start getting in this real estate space. And all I could hear about was this wholesaling, and my friend had purchased a house in Indianapolis, and I grabbed onto this Indianapolis market. And I kid you not, between those gaps of time, I would find like 3 houses for sale, right? That were $30,000 houses. I was like, 3 houses for sale? As a matter of fact, it was 4 houses for sale. And I thought, $120,000? Oh my gosh, I'm going to buy these houses. Like, I just got to do this, right? Long story short, it all unfolded. I started to move into the real estate space. And what I did is I bought 4 houses, sold 3, and kept 1 for free for me. And that lit my world on fire. I didn't even know that there was something like that was a possibility. But let me tell you something. I called a title company. This is how hungry I was, you guys. This is how hungry I was to figure this crap out. Come hell or high water. I got on the phone with a title company and I said, hey, I heard that you do something in Indianapolis. It's called a double close. Could you just I'm so sorry, but I would just love your help. Can you just tell me how that works? Like A to B, B to C. And literally, that is how it started. I did not have a guru. I did not have a teacher. I didn't have a mentor of any sort to show me what to do. I was hungry and I wanted to figure the freaking thing out. So I say all of that to tell you what transpired from, opening up my schedule, making sure I was focused on the things that made sense, and delegating the rest. It freed up time for me to go chase the passion. And I knew real estate. All the 98% of the multimillionaires were in real estate, right? So I knew there had to be something to it. And so long story short, that's how it's transpired to, in turn, we owned 26 rental properties. And I think about 14 of them were in essence for free or negotiations creatively, putting things together. So there is so many ways, women, to skin the cat. And it's not a one size fits all. It's just letting those creative juices flowing. And when you do that, it is so empowering and you feel on top of your game, like, oh my gosh, how could I enjoy work so much? And this is why. So
you are the epitome of no excuse. I mean, because ladies, let me remind you that Erin has 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know how many languages I can say 5 in, but seriously, 5 children. She's a chiropractor. You have this extensive practice in California. Where do you live right now?
I'm in San Antonio, Texas.
San Antonio, Texas. And her business is still thriving.
Yeah.
And she's created this amazing, amazing real estate portfolio by doing the things that we all know we're supposed to be doing as entrepreneurs. Yes, get into your passion and then delegate those $10 an hour jobs that you should not be doing. You should be doing the 50, the 100, the 200, the $1,000 jobs, the jobs that are going to make you money. The other things, give them to somebody else that can do them perhaps even better than you can. Listen to what Erin is saying. Everything that you've just said, chase the passion, making the room so you can do all those things and getting rid of the excuses that you can't. So say you're a doctor. Wow. Like in my brain, because I'm not a doctor, I'm thinking to myself, well, doctors don't have enough time. That's again, negative self-talk. Doctors do have time because you can make the time. Everything.
Let me tell you, let me just, if you don't mind real quick, I actually went from 60 plus hours, you guys. If you saw it, and you guys, my life was disgusting. I will absolutely tell you, I'm going to be 100% transparent because that's what you're going to get from me. Because it's to bring hope to you guys. It's not about me. I don't like to air my dirty laundry, but I'm going to share it with you.
Thank you.
I literally was in practice. I had 2 practices. I was going from one office to the other and seeing patients in the morning time and running over there in the afternoon time and doing these $10 an hour jobs and so on and so forth. I already told you that I delegated with my coach and getting me moving in the right direction. Delegated and really got to hone in on what was the best use of my time. Went from 60 plus hours in my practice to sometimes not even being home to tuck my kids into bed, to have dinner around the dinner table, because my work, literally, I ate it, I drank it, I slept with it. Honestly, that was my partner. It was my baby. I built it up, right? And my identity was honestly wrapped in it. And my coach just gave me a flippin' whooping, and with some working sessions that I had with her, it took me from 60 plus hours down to 27 hours, making more money than I've ever made in my life, because it's the laws, right? You have to be obedient. You have to have your life in balance. And so it was literally going from that 27 hours that it really just opened up the window for, sounds cliche, but for the Lord to say, okay, now's your time. You were obedient. I'm going to unfold and open up opportunity to you. The real estate came in, right? I already told you what had happened with that. And moving forward, it allowed us to all of a sudden have doctors and friends and family say, what in the crap are you doing? How have you gotten 12 properties in the last 6 months? To my husband, who comes from the mortgage industry, who says, babe, this is crazy. Let's create a turnkey company. So we created a turnkey company, and organically, no advertising, no website, no nothing. If you help others get what they want, you will naturally get what you want. And so you take out the manipulation and you take out exactly what you were doing for yourself and helping others to have exactly that, equated to, in 3 years, a little over 230 acquisitions and dispositions to other investors, turned them on to our property management company we used, right? And so we wanted to make sure our investors were taking care of you guys. It's not for the one-offs, I promise you. It's relationships, relationships, relationships. So we had called and talked to our property manager, and we said to them, look, you've done a phenomenal job with us, and we want to extend you more business, but there's one condition. You have to take care of all of our investors. They're our family, like they're us, because they truly are an extension. And so I said, if you do that, we're going to build your business like nobody's other. And sure enough, we've literally built their business. And so what we did is we created the single family, but our foundation was, we knew we wanted to go to multifamily. So we said, hey, this isn't the end all be all, but we're going to start here. But in about 2 years, we're moving into the multifamily space. And if you so desire, we'll take you along for the ride. So that's really how it all kind of unfolded.
You just gave me goosebumps, like just following. And the thing is, you can just, throughout this whole discussion, any of my listeners can follow your story from start to where you are now, and the massive growth that you've had and the reasons why you've had it. Can you talk about the laws? Because not everyone listening might know what laws you're talking about.
I don't know if it's for everybody's ears. So look, you might want to shut me off when I speak. Again, it goes back to my past, right? I've always been a giver. raised in the church, right? And so there's always been that tithe. And here's where you might want to shut me off. For so many years, we gave to the church, right? And then all of a sudden, our heart got wrecked after we started working with our coach. And she said, listen, she said, you really got to focus and give the first of your fruits to the widow, the sick, and the poor. And I went, widow, sick, and poor? Like, I'm giving to my church, man. Aren't I already good enough? Like, what do you mean? I'm giving 10% away. And so we went to Belize with our family and took our kids on a missions trip in 2012. And that wrecked our hearts. We had no idea where we live and how fortunate we are. Man, I could start crying right now. To what we took Christmas presents and socks and pajamas for each of these 101 orphans. We lived in their corridors because I wanted my kids and my family to get fully immersed on how fortunate we are to live where we live and have all that we have and have a mom and a dad, right? We lived for 5 days with cockroaches and gross, right? And then afterwards we went and celebrated, and went on an island with the family and celebrated for our that was our Christmas gift, was to take these gifts and these whatnots to these orphans. And if you could see the delight on their faces and how excited they got over a freaking pair of flippin' socks, it would change your heart, right? And so because our heart turned for those, because I had to be in it to understand the poor, the widow, the sick, what the crap, man, our church is good enough. And we got on a roll every year. I mean, our family we haven't in the last couple of years, so I don't want to sound like I'm goody two shoes or anything like such, but starting in 2012, we started to travel to Nicaragua, to Haiti, to Belize, and we went to Belize for 3 years in a row to just love and develop the relationship with those kids that we met. And y'all, there is nothing like it. There's nothing like it. You've got to go take your family and immerse yourself and give back to those that are hurting. There's so many people out there hurting, and when you just hug these kids that just need the love, it just, honestly, there's nothing like it. So that's really what changed for us, is we started to then take our money and we put it into the nonprofit, to these places that we'd gone to where we knew 100% of the proceeds were going to these kids. They were not going to the hierarchy at all. And honestly, I will tell you something, and it sounds crazy. My hair is literally raising. I've got chicken skin. When you give the first of your fruits with a good heart, not at the end of the month with what's left over, and I'm not always perfect, y'all. Please, I'm just sharing what has worked for us. When you give it the beginning of that month, and you give it to whatever gets your heart going, and you give it to the hurting and those that need it, I kid you not, that's when everything changed for us. Literally, the doors flung open, and that's when the whole real estate thing emerged. And I was like, man, you are so good, God. Like, you're so good. Like, I'm being obedient, and you're totally massively blessing us, right? Is life hard? Absolutely. We've still had highs and lows and this and that, right? But that comes with being an entrepreneur. And you have to, he's gonna give you, he's gonna stretch you, right? And then crap happens. Y'all, I lost $100,000 through a false title company, right? I can either go hide in my kitchen in a cupboard and not come out and be like, man, this is the end of the world. This sucks. Or I can be like, you know what? He's stretching me. He wants to see what my posture is going to be. Can I handle this? And if so, guess what? He's going to give me more. He's going to give me more. And that's the bottom line. So
I feel so blessed to be talking with you right now. I usually have like another question or like some like tidbit of information to give, but that was everything.
I'm sorry that I'm talking so much.
No, this is
passionate about this. I'm so sorry. I forgot it's Peely's podcast, not Erin.
No. This is Peely talking to Erin, wanting to get all the amazingness, and you are just giving it, lady. You are giving it. And for my listeners out there, this is one of those podcasts that you go back and listen to, and you listen to again and again, and then you take action. You are listening to this right now in this moment, wherever you're at, for a reason. And the reason is to take what Erin has just given you, and she's basically given you her life. Take her life story and implement it to the best way that you can think of. Whether it is to start giving, if you haven't already been giving a portion of your proceeds, of your profits, please do. Because like she said, the gates swing open once you do that. You will find the more you give, the more you will receive. Am I right, Erin?
Oh my gosh, truly. Without you guys, without a that brings me to another thing that I just really want to touch on, because I know all of you women have had this. We go to these events, right? We go and we network, we meet all these wonderful people. You have the people that are walking around and literally giving their card to every person they run into. And then all of a sudden you start getting all these emails and you're like, freak, man, who is this Sam guy? Who is this, whoever, Paula? You don't even know who they are. And they're saying, hey, jump into my project, give 50,000. We're going to buy this apartment building. And I'm not kidding. It makes me want to barf in my mouth, barf. And the reason why is because to me, like, relationships are so like, it's so important and so personal, and it's, you want to cultivate it and you want it to be real and raw without manipulation. And unfortunately in our industry, there's a lot of manipulation, right? And so I have to tell you, and I encourage you just to try this on for size, because I think you'll be blown away. So I get these phone calls of people saying, hey, can we connect? Or I'll reach out to people, for example, schedule an appointment. And for those of you maybe that are listening and have been on a call with me, you know this is real. I'm not lying about it. But I get on the phone and I want to learn a little bit about them. And then I'm like, man, well, what is it that you could use some help with? I'd love to help you. What are you looking for? I'm not trying to get on the phone with them to shove them into my apartment complex, right? And so it's really like creating these building blocks. And I am blown away with what unfolds and how, I don't want to say how easy it is to get money or anything like that, but when you do it from the right place, people want to link arms with you when you are genuine and they know you, they trust you, like you hear all day long, no trust like, right?
Mm-hmm.
But truly, when you take the manipulation out of it, I promise you, it will just, I mean, people just see you in a totally different light. So I just had to say that because it gets so disgusting and I throw up in my mouth every time I get one of those doggone emails.
I don't even read them. I scan them. I'm just like, oh, it's another one. Bye. Delete.
I'm glad I'm not alone, then.
You're not alone. That's the thing. Like, it's one thing that if I have communication with you and you're a friend of mine and you happen to be putting me on your whatever mail list. Okay, cool. But if I don't know you and you're spamming me and you're asking me for money or access to my network or no, absolutely not. So I'm completely eye to eye with you. And I will attest that is exactly what Erin says, because we have had one of those conversations before. And at the very end, she beat me to it. She said, how can I help you? How can I help you? That's what you ask. You don't say, give me. You say, how can I? How can I help you? How can I give value to you? So Erin, before I leave you, because you've given us so much, give us one more thing, especially for the mamas listening, that the mamas can take away. If it's one thing that you've said that they can do right now.
I don't know. I feel like I've shared so much, but I really want to share this because this is where I really screwed up in the multifamily. And I think we all need course correction, right? And so I really want to share this and shout it actually from the mountaintop. When I got started 2.5 years ago, I remember coming out of my course and I paid the $45,000 to have the mentorship for the multifamily. And I literally was a one-man show trying to do it all. Find the broker, find the relationships, find the property, honestly, I was trying to do it all. And I'm like, damn, I'm not so sure about this multifamily. Like, this is overwhelming. I feel discouraged. Y'all, this went on for some time. And mind you, I was still in practice, right? And so I wasn't 100% into it, but I was putting a lot of energy and time to it. So I had something crazy happen where I ended up having to go back to my practice after I moved to Texas, y'all, for 5 months. It was the most painful time in my entire life. I had to be away from my family. A doctor I had come in, ended up, his wife wanted to move to Arizona, so they ended up leaving or whatnot. But I didn't set it up properly to have 2 doctors in there. So I put myself in a really vulnerable, bad position that I didn't know. Now I know. But that was like some serious soul searching time. And I remember going, okay, there's got to be like, Lord, like, you put me back in this place, like make something great come out of this, because this has been hell, right? And I came out of there freaking fierce. I came back from California and I was like, I'm done. I am going straight with relationships. I'm going straight with raising money. And I'm going to meet some incredible people that I can work alongside of, where we can really benefit each other. And so if I could give you one thing, sorry, that was long, you go figure out what your superpower is and you run with that sucker. and you will attract and you will find those other people that you can absolutely benefit, because they are going to want to be linked to you because you have something that they don't have. And when you find that, I mean, literally the rooftop blew up. And I cannot believe what has happened just in the last, I don't know, 8 months, 160 some odd doors over 3 or 4 different properties at this point, because I honed in and ran with that versus trying to do it all on my own. It doesn't mean that you have to have a team that you're going to work with all the time. And it's, oh shoot, I don't have a team. And you know, we all can make excuses again, right? I don't have somebody that's an underwriter. I don't have somebody. Don't worry about that. Hone in on your skill set. You become the specialist in that area and you run with that, and you will not believe what unfolds. And you get yourself out networking and around the people that you want to be linked with, and it will happen. So put your energy there. That's what I have to say.
Boom. Find your superpower, ladies. Erin, I have no words. This is amazing. This was everything I needed for today. This is everything my listeners needed for today. Again, I implore you, ladies, take what she said and implement. Whenever you listen to, okay, this is what I'm going to leave you with. Whenever you listen to a podcast, read a book, anything you're putting your hard-earned time into, especially if you're suffering from that lovely little mom guilt, use that and implement. Use that time. Use this time to implement. Take even that last thing that Erin said. Find your superpower. Go and find your superpower. Take the next 5, 10, a half an hour if you have it. Find your superpower right now. So again, Erin, thank you so very much for coming on.
Hey, you're so welcome. I just want to tell you, you're an absolute encourager to me. You inspire me. And if you inspire me, I'm sure you're inspiring other people. But you are completely, incredibly committed, not just to motherhood, but I see you out in the multifamily space and getting out there and adding value. And you are a force to be reckoned with. So it's a pleasure being linked to you, honestly.
Thank you so much. And it's, you know what, it's nice to hear that, because sometimes I don't, you know what, I'm human. Sometimes I think to myself, I'm like, am I doing the right thing? Am I going, the mom guilt, should I be like holding my kid right now?
Girl, you're doing awesome. Keep it up. Honestly,
Thank you.
You're awe-inspiring, and I'm sure everybody out there would agree and concur with what I just said. So keep doing you.
Thank you so much, Erin. And everybody else out there, you keep on doing you. You guys are amazing. Thank you to all the mamas who are listening. I am so grateful. And again, thank you so much, Erin.
You're so welcome. Take care.
Bye now.